So I have a question for all the attendees who joined us so far. I'm sure you've read the page where you registered, you read our emails, and you kind of have a fair understanding of what to expect from today's masterclass. However, I want to understand from you guys, is there anything in specific that you wish to learn today? And we'll make sure to incorporate all of that throughout our presentation. But I'd love to know, is there anything in specific that you're looking out of today's session? Brian, Fabiola, Fallon, Hussein, Jessica, Prerna, Terim, Kamudini, Hussein, go ahead and let us know in the chat if there is anything specific that you're looking forward to today. Go on, go on, go on quickly. Ideas for how to best leverage your loyal fans. Super. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. You see Kanchan smiling, so she's she's super excited. She's come prepared for that question specifically. Fallon just wants to learn everything in general, nothing in specific. Fair enough. Awesome. So with that, I think we can get started. So thank you so much for taking out your time on a Thursday morning, evening, afternoon across the different time zones that you've joined us from, and agreeing to spend the next 45, 50, 55 minutes with Hurix Digital to unlock the next phase of your organization's growth. Now, before we jump into the great stuff, um, I want to start with the reason why we're doing this. Imagine a company that does almost $30 million in annual revenue. Okay. And suddenly it signs 5 new clients that pay $20 million each every year. For a $30 million company, you immediately get 5 big fishes with a spending capacity of $20 million each. Now, what I'm talking about is a tech company that I personally used to work for. I handled growth for that organization. And because of what we're going to talk about in today's masterclass, this is exactly the result that I was able to deliver with my previous organization. With that said, hello, everybody. My name is Chirag. I lead marketing for Hurix Digital. Along with me, I have Kanchan Shine. She comes with almost 2 decades of experience in building a learning culture for various organizations of different sizes, different industries. She currently is the Chief Learning Officer and Innovation Officer at Hurix Digital. Uh, and she's one of the key pillars and driving forces behind Hurix Digital taking the first step in advancing towards artificial intelligence, and she's the driver for that. And she's also responsible for a lot of training programs that I'm pretty sure you've gone through at some point in your careers, and she's the driving force for all of that. Kanchan, super excited to have you on this. I know the kind of knowledge and depth you come with, and I'm sure our audiences are going to love what's going to come in the next 45 odd minutes. So with that said, Kanchan, if you could just quickly jump to the next slide. Now, honestly speaking, before I hand it off to Kanchan, we all come from a mindset where we all love what we do. We all love what we see. If you go back in time, go back in 2010, the Gmail that you see today was way different from when it was in back in 2010. Even WhatsApp or any other messaging platform or any other product that you see today, it's gone leaps and bounds ahead of what it was, right? The multiple iterations of changes that's happened. And for most marketers, it's always either the product. For most product companies, it's always marketing. But in reality, it is usually the complexity of your product. I'm not saying your product is bad. You've designed an amazing product, but it's just that in hindsight, it's become too complicated for somebody who's just using your product for the first time or experiencing your business for the first time. Now, this is the core reason why your audiences feel confused. And when they feel confused, it ripples into frustration, it ripples into friction, it ripples into eventual churn. It's not a UI problem or a support problem, it's a success problem. We've all been, see, the reason why most of our audiences don't like to be early adopters of any new trend is because they have a fear of not being able to use the right product in the right way, in the way it was intended to be used. Let me ask this question to you, Kanchan. Uh, I'm sure at some point in time you've bought a product that you were really excited for, and eventually you just realize you needed a master's degree in engineering just to use it the right way. And I'm sure everybody in the audience has been guilty. Have you gone through something like this?
Well, yes, been there, been through, that buying experience. And, just recently, about a week back, I bought one of these very cool coffee machines because, it's everywhere, it's in your face, and you're like, okay, you know what? That little coffee that I go to Starbucks, and there are these little cubes. Let me just buy this machine and have this, my personal coffee maker with myself. So, yeah, I bought this fancy coffee machine that promised barista quality coffee at home. And in my head, I was already serving cappuccinos and, calling my friends over for coffee with Kanchan. But in reality, a couple of tutorials later, I am still producing something that I think tastes like coffee, but I'm not there yet. And
That's brown in nature, closely resembles coffee.
yes, something like that, right? And I think that's the moment, Chirag, when that whole excitement of, hey, I'm going to buy this coffee machine, and of course the ads look great and the product seems like super cool, but to really get the hang of it, and maybe I'm not the Gen Z, but then the coffee machine is not really made for Gen Z, right? I'm assuming they made it for all kinds of generations. And it was that little disappointment, or rather the gap between the excitement that I had, which then just turned into now a struggle. And I'm hoping with I'm just giving myself a couple of more days before I really give up on that product. So I think that's what we're really calling the success crisis, where the products are made we want users to succeed. You want them to succeed, but sometimes it's just that the complexity gets in the way. And if we don't address that gap, it undermines growth, brand trust, and long-term loyalty.
Exactly. And for the audiences, right, what we're going to do today is unpack just exactly this piece, right? What is it that you as marketers can do? What is it that you as leaders and product folks can do? Um, can you solve this problem by adding more features? Can you solve this problem by getting your messaging right? Uh, I don't know. We'll unpack all of this. But the sense that I'm getting is we need to rethink how users experience our product and try to influence them from that first moment of truth. With that said, I quickly want to run a poll for you. Kanchan, if you could quickly switch. Awesome. Sagar, can you quickly pull up the poll? So we've surfaced this idea of a success crisis, right? Um, which of these do you believe is the biggest reason why customers struggle with your product? Could it be lack of training or onboarding? Could it be product complexity? Could it be poor documentation? Maybe Kanchan had a right manual for her coffee machine. She would have been able to use it well. Or is it just low engagement or motivation from a consumer's standpoint? Which of these do you feel is the correct answer? Go ahead and quickly vote. You should see a pop-up on your screen. And we shall wait for a couple of more seconds.
And it's okay for you to put, all of the above or check all of the boxes. If your customers are human,
Yeah,
like us,
yeah,
you're
you don't
probably
need to choose
seeing,
one. You
yeah,
don't need to choose one. It could be multiple reasons.
yeah.
And everything that you're willing to solve is what we will help you with going down the line. But I need to know what are those key pain areas that you feel. Sagar, if you have enough responses, can we quickly pull up the results?
Oh.
Brilliant. So product complexity, obviously, because our first slide was about product complexity, so that's going to take a hit. But lack of training or onboarding, that is one of the many reasons why, you know, different generations struggle with different layers of technology. Even today, I know a lot of professionals that still struggle with AI as a simple technology, where it is supposed to be very intuitive, very easy to use, yet a lot of people struggle with it. Poor documentation support could have solved for that lack of training. But again, you get a manual, and I don't know if it is just the male ego, but we tend to use technology without documentation. Oh, we don't need a manual, right? So that's the first thing we chuck out of the window. And low engagement and motivation, obviously, that is also kind of like a given. Um, with that said, hold on to the options that you have picked, because it's about to become very, very, very relevant as we dig deeper into what's truly driving customer struggle. Um, with that, enough from me. I'd love to let Kanchan take the stage. Kanchan, over to you.
Thank you. So now that you've reflected and thought about, why your customers struggle, let's zoom out and look at what actually creates customer success in the first place. Because in reality, customer satisfaction doesn't alone create loyal customers. Advocacy, and I'm talking about true advocacy, comes from something deeper. And we call this the success equation. It's what turns an average user into a confident, vocal champion of your product. So the first part of this equation is product knowledge. And when I say product knowledge, I'm not talking about having customers read your release notes or scan a features page, but truly understanding the capabilities of your product. And without this foundation, users can't see the value you work so hard to build. The second part, or rather the second component in this equation, is confidence. Knowledge is great. I know, okay, like I bought the coffee machine. I know it's got all of these features and it can do all of these things. But confidence is what allows users to apply what they've learned, solve problems independently, and feel empowered rather than intimidated. Confidence is the difference between I know this feature exists and I know exactly how to use this to get the results that I want. Where? So in my journey with the coffee machine, I have the knowledge. I don't have the confidence yet. I'm struggling to figure out how, to operate on the product. And the final third component of the equation is community recognition. Users just don't want to learn, they want to belong. They want validation, they want visibility, they want a sense of progress. And this is where we start to see champions and influencers and evangelists emerge. So when these three elements come together, knowledge, confidence, recognition, that's when customers stop being users and start becoming real advocates of your product. So the big question becomes, how do you as marketeers help your users move through this equation from knowledge to confidence to recognition? And that's what we're going to look at.
Super. So poll time, right? I'm back. I'm back. Now we've unpacked the success equation, and I'd love to take it a step ahead. At the end of the day, what we all want is not just competent users or users who know how to use your product. What we want is advocates, people who talk about your product, recommend it to others, defend it, and love it loudly. So here's my question to you. Which of these do you think most strongly describes customer advocacy? Is it deep product knowledge? Is it confidence through hands on mastery? Is it recognition, community validation? Or is it great support and customer service? The poll is up on your screen right now. Again, it's a multi select option. It could be more than one that you resonate with. But which of these do you really think strongly drives customer advocacy? Go ahead, fill in the polls. And there's no right or wrong answer to this because every industry views these challenges in a different light, right? For a product company versus a tech company, the ecosystem is completely different. The kind of persona that they deal with is completely different. So your challenges could also be different, right? So which of these do you think most strongly drives customer advocacy, deep product knowledge, confidence through hands-on mastery, recognition and community validation, or great support and customer service? Could be one, two, or all of them. Sagar, if you have enough responses, go ahead and pull up the results, please. Great support and customer service. I somehow knew that would have been the one. Now, for all the people who voted for support and customer service, I have a quick question for you. Think about it. As a user, when do you actually reach out to support or customer service teams? That's only when you have a problem, right? Unhappy customers are the loudest, and happy customers are the most silent breed of customers you'll ever see. They'll silently use your product, not harp too much about it, just enjoy the product by themselves. But if you have one unhappy customer, he'll make sure that he at least sends that message to 15 other customers, right? So with that said, um, what's interesting is that different companies, like I mentioned earlier, tend to prioritize different answers. Okay. Some invest heavily in documentation, some focus on support, some build communities first. And that's all great, right? But when you zoom out, each of these ties back to that same core truth. People advocate for products that make them feel capable, confident, and seen.
And
Right?
just to add to that, Chirag, while customer support is crucial, no one becomes a brand evangelist just because the support team replied quickly, right? Advocacy comes from transformation and not ticket resolution. So that's something to keep in mind.
So we're going to show you what the world's most successful product-led brands do to intentionally create this advocacy, to create this transformation. And it does not happen accidentally, right? Let's move to some really beautiful case studies of brands that have used customer training as the next phase of their corporate growth. Over to you, Kanchan.
So, yeah. So I love, I'm excited to talk about this slide. And I know we picked the beauty industry because I have a teenage daughter. And if you've ever lived with a teenager, you know they are the unofficial CEOs of the beauty ecosystem. So recently, my daughter purchased this product she'd been obsessing over. She'd seen it on Amazon, and it arrives at home. And immediately, the next minute, she's unpacked it. And literally within minutes, she pulls up a tutorial from Nika, right? And there she is. The product is open. She's watching the tutorial. I don't know what's going on. She's pausing, rewinding, trying again. After 20 minutes, she walks into the room looking like she'd had a professional makeover. And she says, I did this. And frankly, I mean, as a parent, she did definitely look gorgeous. Okay, I can be biased. I'm a mom. But the very fact that, somebody's just purchased an eyeliner or some eyeshadow, and in minutes, they've been able to apply it and feel that confidence and feel that success was just amazing to see. So here's what struck me. She wasn't just using the product. She was learning, experimenting, and instantly sharing her result with her friends. So it's not just me. By the time she's come to me, she's already taken a multiple, number of selfies, and it's gone into her Insta page and her WhatsApp groups. She's gone from a learner to a creator. And next thing I know, her friends are messaging her, asking her, what did you use? How did you do that? Send me the link. And in like a few minutes, she's suddenly the expert in her circle. And that's what happens when customers gain confidence, right? They start influencing others without even realizing it. She didn't know what she was doing, but immediately she's sending the, shopping link to her friends because they want to know what this product is and how to, get the same look that she has. So that's where brands like L'Oreal, Nike are brilliant. Because the moment a customer feels that sense of mastery, they naturally start advocating, not because they are paid to, not because someone told them to, but because skill plus confidence plus recognition leads to advocacy. So it's a very natural, organic reaction that of, I am successful and I want to share the success that comes. Sorry, Chirag, you want to?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, let's say hypothetically we have uh, a big pool of people who are Maybelline certified
Yeah.
beauticians, right? Now, there are two layers to this. One is obviously marketers are struggling with organic growth. They're struggling with user-generated content. This immediately opens that door for them. You have people talking about it, people sharing their certifications. Hey, I'm a Maybelline certified beautician. And on top of that, you open your business to an entire layer of people who are experts in this, right? Salons and beauticians and professional beauticians, right? They start getting certified. I'm a Maybelline certified XYZ. My salon is L'Oreal certified. Uh, Things like that, and then people get attracted towards that certification. Now that certification has some weight to it. When I say I'm certified in something, there's an immediate a sense of credibility to it, right? That's where your brand stands different from all the other brands, where everybody is doing AI ads and billboards and print ads and Facebook Meta ads and Google ads and YouTube ads. You're actually giving something tangible to your audience. Today, print has the highest recall of all mediums of communication for marketing. And imagine you sending them a physical certificate that says, hey, you're certified by us. That's the kind of brand recall and value that you want to build, right? And L'Oreal and Nike aren't doing it out of the goodness of their hearts, right? They're doing this because they see this value. And the examples that we'll talk about going forward, you'll realize, oh, a lot of brands are doing this indirectly, and we never realized that this is happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's unpack another one, Kancha.
Yeah. So, just when we're talking about building advocacy, I think the beauty industry gives us a powerful lesson. Create once, evangelize everywhere. A single educational moment, a tutorial, a guided experience can turn one customer into 10. And like Chirag said, it's not accidental, it's by design. And it works incredibly well. The beauty industry is also a master in content transformation. This one technique, the perfect winged eyeliner. right? The famous perfect winged eyeliner has been taught in what feels like 100 different ways. But here's the real magic. It actually usually starts with just one tutorial, one well designed step by step learning moment. And then they take it from that one single tutorial to multiple different modalities or formats. So it's the same core content, but reshaped for different moments, different platforms, different Gen Zs, As, Bs, and different attention spans. So some customers prefer hands-on guidance, and so you have in-store training where you have the beautician sitting and teaching you how to do the winged liner, because tactile learning experiences is what some of us like, and that's your in-store demo. But the same content, the same steps are then packed into a punchy 20-second reel and put out as Instagram, appealing to the younger audience. And then some want a slightly longer how to step by step digestible guide. And that's where, you take the same instructions and you turn it into YouTube shorts. And then there's, of course, TikTok, trendy, playful, personality driven. But notice what's happening here. They're not reinventing content. They're repurposing one strong educational asset into multiple lightweight, snackable pieces. And because the technique is accessible anywhere, in store, on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, it becomes impossible for the user to fail. So, what does this mean for marketing leaders? It means transformation doesn't have to be complex. You don't need 500 tutorials. You need one great piece of content that meets your users wherever they are, and therefore you decide which formats to deploy it in. And that's your blueprint. A single learning moment multiplied across channels becomes a confidence engine. And confidence, as we've seen, is the fuel for advocacy. So let's take everything we've seen so far, the beauty ecosystem, the tutorials, the creators, influence, and boil it down to what's really happening underneath. At its core, what we're doing is designing an emotional journey that leads to customer transformation. And you can see this in beauty, in gaming, in design tools like Canva, or in marketing platforms like HubSpot. It's universal. It always starts with a quick win. I can do this. A tiny moment where the user thinks and feels, oh, I actually did it. That's the micro success that pulls them in. Once they've tasted success, they want more. So you give them slightly bigger challenges, slightly deeper knowledge, and that's where the real skill building happens. And the users feel themselves leveling up. Think of it like unboxing the next level in a game. And finally, when they reach mastery, something amazing happens. They stop seeing themselves as users and start seeing themselves as experts. And once a user identifies as an expert in your product, you don't have customers anymore, you have advocates. And I'll give you a simple example of, the KitchenAid that I purchased. Again, lovely advertisements, showing this lovely kitchen and you can use this and you can bake your cakes. And I bought it. And I said, okay, you know what? And the kids were small. So I said, I must bake my own cakes, right? And the product came with the scan code. You scan it, you watch the tutorials, and it just starts with a simple sponge cake. And I tried it out, and it worked out well. The family appreciated it. And then I said, okay, fine. It doesn't stop at that. It says, okay, now why don't you graduate to the next level and to the third level? And I used it over a period of years. So there came actually a time where I stopped ordering cakes for the kids' birthday and I was making my own cakes. And I was not just making it, people at the party were asking me all about it. And I kept talking about the product. I'm like, hey, you know what? This product makes you a baker, right? And I mean, I didn't know I could bake, but it's because of the product that I now developed the skill of baking and I became an advocate for the product. So when we design customer journeys, we don't just build content. We architect experiences that walk users through these emotional stages, the same stages every successful product ecosystem taps into. Think of game levels. Each stage builds momentum. Each win creates a desire for the next win. And that's how we create users who just don't use our product, they champion it. So if we take that idea of game levels, the emotional progression from I can do this, I'm getting good, I'm an expert, the question becomes who's doing exceptionally well. And one of my favorite, uh, again, case studies to look at is the Salesforce Trailhead. It's a great standard for turning users into skilled practitioners and practitioners into vocal advocates. They have they have a great community ecosystem that they've set up, and they have various levels that they've defined. So when I begin with Trailblazer Basics, just enough to get the foundations. I can graduate to an admin beginner, and then I move to admin intermediate and admin advanced. And I'll just show you over here the site. Let me know if it's visible. Yeah.
Yep. I can see.
Yeah. So this is this is their homepage where you see Trailblazer completely, the proposition. And again, it's beautifully done. You look at it and it's all about selling you the dream of how you can acquire this skill and become an agent blazer champion, an innovator, and become a legend. And I can start my journey here. And then they've very nicely, created the entire pathway for me, step by step, giving me all of the information. There are points, there are badges that I earn. So every stage delivers the same combination. You develop confidence, you feel a sense of achievement. I passed this, I earned this. And then you have visibilities in the form of badges and credentials that are given to you. So what this tells us that you don't get advocacy by accident. You build it through a success journey, a clear, structured path where users feel themselves leveling up. And when they look back, they realize, whoa, this product made me better at my job. And that's the moment advocacy is born. So, whether it's beauty tutorials, gaming mechanisms, or Salesforce Trailhead, the pattern is the same. Give users a path, give them momentum, give them recognition, and they will climb that mountain voluntarily while advocating for you.
So brings me to a very interesting point. Okay. Uh, it's very important to catch your users while they're very nascent and young in their journey with your brand. I'm talking about let's take HubSpot for an example, right? A Kanjan showed Salesforce. I'll talk about HubSpot. Let's say you're a HubSpot certified email marketer. You're a HubSpot certified CRM professional. Every time you switch roles, what is the first thing that you take with you? Your certifications. Immediately, you've introduced your business in that new organization, even without a sales guy reaching out. Now, if I want to switch my CRM from, let's say, a Salesforce, and I'm looking at options, what's the next best option I would suggest or recommend? Obviously, it's HubSpot because I'm certified in HubSpot. To the extent where we and you can take it actually a step beyond that, reach out to institutes, reach out to campuses, and teach people about your technology, your product, how to use it. There are fashion institutes that you can go to. There are B schools that you can approach. There are uh, different specifications and specializations that you can reach out to and start teaching about your brand from that point on. And that we have seen a lot of early wins with that. We have seen our students. So I have personally trained about 1,800, 1,900 odd marketers across the globe. I have seen these students migrate to different geographies and open opportunities and doors for us. Just because I caught them early, I caught them at the right time, gave them the right guidance, the right knowledge, introduced them to the right platform, and they've become evangelists for us. They've become resellers for us. Now, with that said, we've looked at how brands like Salesforce structure mastery. Let's bring that a little closer to home. Think about a time when you were learning something new. Um, Maybe a tool, maybe a sport, a hobby, a skill. Maybe you were just looking at OpenAI's institute and getting a certification for all that matters. What actually made you feel that little spark of, hey, wait, I'm getting there, right? I'm getting a hang of this. I'm learning something new. You know the feeling that I'm talking about, right? Uh, so my question to you is, which of these options gives you that sense that you're getting better from where you started? Is it quick wins or progress badges? Is it challenging skill based tasks? Is it peer recognition, leaderboards, ranking systems, or is it earning certifications? Now, what we saw in the Salesforce example, they very beautifully ingrained certain points, certain badges, certain markers that help you get that sense of achievement every day. Okay, today I have gone from 4,000 points to, let's say, a 5,000 uh, points. I am number 7 on the leaderboard. The next task that I complete, I'll be number 3 on the leaderboard. Is it that? Is it the sheer quality, how difficult a course is, and you've achieved it? Um, do you love IQ tests? If you've ever taken an IQ test, the more difficult it is, the more satisfied you feel at the end of it. Uh, is it, leaderboards, peer recognition? You've joined a Discord community, people are talking about your product, your project. Or is it when you share your certificates on social media platforms, add it to your resume, use it for some professional purpose? Sagar, if we have enough votes, can we quickly populate the results? Quick wins and progress badges all the way. Absolutely, absolutely. The smallest of achievements, right? You've completed a course. Hey, if you guys use Asana does this really well across their product. Every time you complete 3 tasks in a row, there's a beautiful unicorn that pops up with confetti, congratulating you for what you've done. That's a small progress win that I like to celebrate. I feel good about, and so do everybody else. So what's interesting is that different people are motivated with different triggers. Some want reassurance. Okay, I'm doing the right thing. Great. Some want challenges. Some want visibility. Some want credentials. And when you blend all of these elements together, you create a learning experience that pulls people forward almost automatically. Right. So whatever answer you picked, hold on to that answer, because we're about to show you how you can build experiences that deliver all or some or none of these motivators, not just for individuals, but for thousands of customers at scale. There is a blueprint, there is a framework, right? It's not like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. There is a defined framework that we've been following for some of our clients at Hurix. Over to you, Kanchan. Kanchan, you're on mute.
Okay, I'm here. So, what we've seen so far is we've looked at motivation, confidence, recognition, momentum. But now let's shift to the engine that actually creates that momentum. How people build real demonstrable skills. And that's where competency based learning outcomes become incredibly powerful. Traditional training says, hey, watch this video, remember these steps. But based learning says, show me you can do it. And that changes everything. People don't want to be told what to do, they want to try it, they want to build something, they want to see the result. So instead of passive content, you give learners real scenarios. Design a social post, create a brand board, build a presentation layout. And the moment they apply the skill, they own it. And those challenges that they overcome can be validated. Did they complete it? Did they meet the criteria? Did the design really reflect the skill being taught? I can actually see myself making a cake, and, I can judge my quality of cake once I've made it versus just looking at the book and saying, yeah, that's a recipe that I can, understand. So one of my favorite examples of a company that does this really well is Canva Design School. And they don't just teach theory, they make you create. You design posts, presentation, mood boards, reels, all inside Canva. So let me just take you to their site. Again, really well designed. So this is the Canva Design School. It's got loads of tutorials and each of them beautifully placed, always giving you, the motivation and inspiration that you can stand out with LinkedIn videos, or here's how you can actually become, create engaging campaigns with LinkedIn ads. So if you just look at one of these, again, very similar to Salesforce Trailblazer, you'll see there's a whole list of, the learning path that's designed. You have the badge over here. You have all of the other skills that are listed. And again, digestible, small chunks. There's a cute little tutorial that tells you how to do stuff. And once you've gone through the tutorial, the beauty and the actual transferable exercise comes in the form of an activity. So here is an actual assignment. They've given you this and they walk you step by step, teaching you what to do. Click the highlighter tool, now do this. They're actually giving you a canvas to work on and build your first presentation or a video or whatever it is, that you're looking at, and constantly cheering for you on the way, right? So this is the heart of competency-based learning: hands-on challenges, validated skills, shareable accomplishments. And for users, that's the moment learning becomes an identity, and identity leads to advocacy. So we've seen competency and skill-based learning, but on this, we need to add another layer, which is just as important, and that's the psychology behind why people stay motivated. And raise your hand if you've, at any point of time, tried Duolingo, right? No one has cracked this better than Duolingo. Duolingo's mechanics is genius. It creates emotional commitment to consistency. Once you start a streak, you don't want to break it. That tiny flame icon becomes a personal achievement. The characters that they have, oh my God, they're just so incredibly cute. And when you don't do your streak, they have this little sad face. They've really nailed how to keep you motivated, how to drive that engagement and that momentum. So streaks is one way to keep that momentum, going. Then you have badges, visual, delightful, sometimes ridiculous badges, but they work because as humans, we love to see proof of progress. We love collecting things and we love showing others what we've earned. And then there is leaderboards, which introduces healthy competition. Suddenly, I'm learning, and I am on Duolingo learning Korean, and I'm trying to outrank someone named Steve, who I've never met in my life, right? Competition fuels engagement. We are wired for it. And then there's real magic. All that engagement translates into genuine skill development. You're not just tapping buttons, you're actually learning. The game mechanics pull you in, the real progress keeps you going. Cisco Networking Academy is again another great example of how they design the entire experience for learners. They have the entire courses, they have a lot of hands-on lab. So it's not just about, hey, come and take away knowledge, but it is about take away skills that you can actually transfer. And that confidence that learners build or your users build from using your product actually, is helping them elevate their careers and is becoming a part of their life. So when we design customer learning, we take a page from Duolingo's playbook, make it engaging, make it rewarding, make progress feel visible, addictive, and real. Because when learning is fun and motivating, success becomes inevitable.
Karan, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Okay? You've shown Cisco, you've shown Salesforce. Um, and I know a lot of organizations, when they hire for these skill sets, they specifically mention that you're supposed to be a Cisco certified network engineer or a Salesforce certified CRM professional. Now, the question that keeps popping in my head is, even though my core business is completely different, if I'm running an academy, should this academy be free, like the HubSpots of the world? Or should it be paid like the Salesforces of them? What what should ideally be my strategy when I'm building an academy for my prospects and my customers and my audiences?
It really depends on, um, you know, you have to link it back, or rather, the way we always do it, always work back from the goals, right? Um, so and that's a great point, because we're talking about credentials on this slide. When your product is actually enabling a skill that's helping me advance in my career, or that one that becomes the industry benchmark, or rather the standard that people are looking for, you want that credential to have a value. And perhaps that's why you decide to charge for these little courses that you're giving. But if you look at a Nika tutorial, or the L'Oreal's, again, if you'll see where it impacts careers, it is a charged product. But where it doesn't, you're giving them the information to empower them and to make them feel successful. So I think that's, a call between the business goals and the actual end outcome that we are really going for.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about credentials. Credentials are powerful, but only when they mean something. So again, Chirag, to answer your question, it's not just that, my daughter didn't get a beautician credential just by watching that tutorial, right? So these things actually carry value, and they have, a very core purpose, and they actually open doors. And one of the examples is Google Ads certification. To earn a Google Ads certification, you don't just watch a video or memorize terminology. You actually have to build the real campaign. You have to optimize budget. You have to analyze result. So, in other words, you're demonstrating actual capability and not theoretical understanding. And that's why employers trust it too. When the certification shows up on your LinkedIn profile, on resumes, job application, you get, you come into the focus, because it's recognized as a signal of skills. Hiring managers know exactly what it means if you've said that you have a Google Ads certification. So when the credential advances a person's career, the person becomes a lifelong advocate of the product behind it. Again, not because they are asked to, but because the product played a role in their success story. So, a great credential doesn't say you learn something, it actually says you prove something, you can do something valuable. You are now, you are skilled, you have a new skill today than what you had yesterday. So, when learning has this kind of impact, advocacy just becomes a natural thing that is a byproduct. So as marketing leaders, this is where our thinking needs to shift. We're not just teaching features, we are enabling careers. And when you do that, you don't get users, you get champions. And the final factor that takes all of this initiative and really multiplies it 10x or 100x is the power of community. Because when customers succeed alone, they grow. But when customers succeed together, it's your brand that grows. So community is where individual wins turn into collective momentum. And look at the Salesforce Blazer community. Let's just say community page. Look at the chatter and the constant activity that's going on over here. It's all about people helping each other, supporting each other, using their expertise to help, the community grow. And imagine the outcome that trail Salesforce is getting out of these. These users, these active users, as of 31st October, or even as of today, right? They are your active champions and they're advocating for your products. So it's not just a group, it's a movement. And it all started with Salesforce deciding to empower them through their learning academy. And HubSpot did something similar with their user groups. They have local meetups, they have online forums, they have experts helping each other. It's not just support, it's creating that feeling of belonging. And then you have peer advocacy. That's where your most engaged learners evolve into natural ambassadors. They champion your product because it has helped them achieve something meaningful. So, success shared equals success multiplied. When customers feel like they're part of something bigger, a tribe, a community, a network, they just don't use your product, they champion it. They lift up others with them. And that's the moment your brand becomes a platform for growth and it's no longer a tool. So, if individual learning creates competence, community creates advocacy at scale, and make helping others your brand superpower, and you become the strongest marketing engine. Over to you, Chirag.
Super. So while we're on that topic of communities, I'm going to quickly jump in with a shameless plug. In the next couple of weeks, be on the lookout for an email, an exclusive invite from Hurix Digital. We're in the process of building a global community of experts from similar domains. So if you're a marketer, we'll have a global community for marketers. Uh, a lot of senior folks that you could come exchange ideas, ask for help. Similarly, for instructional designers, for L&D professionals, for HR folks, we're in the middle of creating that. So be on the lookout for an exclusive invite. And we'll do a really great announcement. But yes, community is going to be the next big thing for us as well. Now, we've explored the psychology of success, right? We've seen how communities scale advocacy, and we've watched how the world's most successful brands engineer mastery. Let's flip the lens. If you were to launch a customer academy, let's say I and Kanchan have convinced you enough to build or take a customer academy very seriously, what would you expect it to deliver in the first 3 to 6 months? What would its immediate superpower be? Would it be building trust and expert communities? Would it be driving measurable ROI from learning? Which obviously, as marketers, is the first thing we look for. If we're investing a penny, we need five in return. Encouraging user-generated content, because that shows that your academy is encouraging enough people to create their own content, or creating a certification that employers love. Would you love to see your brand's certification as a prerequisite in some JDs, where you go to a platform, you open LinkedIn Jobs, and you see a job post which has a prerequisite of being certified by your brand? Uh, what would the first 3 to 6 months look like? Building expert communities, driving ROI, user generated content, or certification that employs value. Quickly, the
I think Chirag
others,
is.
Sagar, if you have enough answers,
Yeah.
quickly just go ahead and flash the responses. Had to be. So personally, culture for me, I feel all of these are like superpowers, should be your first 6 months priority slash agenda. But it depends on which cape you want to put on the academy first, right? So Um, a great customer academy doesn't just teach. Okay. I'm not asking audiences to build a learning and development ecosystem. I don't want you to look at this customer academy from an L&D lens that you would usually find in most organizations. This could very well be a revenue generation channel for you, which means that if you're looking at investing your time, energy, effort, and resources behind something like this, you get enough out of it. And when it's designed right, it becomes the single most powerful engine for your product adoption, for your platform adoption, for your idea adoption, which eventually drives advocacy and which eventually drives revenue. So, as marketers, the first thing that comes to our head is, okay, how do I attribute my success to this? How do I measure the success of this initiative? Right? If that is your next thought, Kanchan, this is for you.
Yeah. So let's talk metrics because that's where, we're all going towards, but not the boring ones. Because, if you build a customer academy, the metrics you track actually change. And honestly, they should. And I love this loyal lobster visual because it nails the point. Loyalty is the strongest armor brand you will ever, sorry, it's the strongest armor your brand will ever have, right? So, most, when we think of academy and we think of learning, yes, we want to track compliance and did they complete it? What were their percentage scores? Yes. But that's not the only metric that you want to track through your customer academy. The magic lies in tracking or measuring evangelism metrics. These metrics tell you who's out there spreading the word, validating your product, and pulling in others with them. For example, when someone posts a certification on LinkedIn or adds it to your resume, to their resume, that's not engagement. That's brand promotion. That's proof that they're proud of what they achieved through your product. New users who show up because someone told them that they should sign up are again great, is again great metrics to track. So referrals is a great metrics to track because referrals from educated users convert, and we know this, they convert better and stick longer. Referrals is actually advocacy in action. And then you have user generated content, tutorials, walkthroughs. Here's how I solved this. My daughter making her own tutorial to show her friends how to apply the makeup thing that she did. And through that, also talking about the product that she used, right? When people start teaching your product to others, you've officially arrived and you've officially won. And finally, there's participation, forum answers, Slack groups, communities. These are the behaviors of someone who sees your product as part of their identity and not just a tool set. So remember, completion is good, but evangelism is gold. And a customer academy isn't a place where people finish content, it's where they become the engines of your growth. So let's conclude or wind this up by talking about the growth loop. Everything that we've seen so far is about mastery, momentum, recognition, community, and it all leads to this moment. This is the shift every marketing leader dreams of. This is what is called as the evangelism growth loop. It's simple but incredibly powerful, and it starts with success. A customer achieves something meaningful with your product, a real outcome, a real win that gives them confidence. And what do we do when we are proud of something? We want to share it. So we post it, we talk about it, we celebrate it. Your customers become your storytellers. And those stories attract new prospects. Genuine, authentic stories from peers outperform ads every single time. People trust people and not marketing departments. And then is the final magic. Every success story feeds the next wave of success. So you've made this continuous loop that doesn't stop, it only compounds. So, a well designed customer academy doesn't just train users, it feeds this loop. It creates more success, which creates more sharing, more attraction, more customers, more success. So, evangelism is a happy virus. And create your academy, create the evangelist, and let this virus spread. So, we want to leave you with a very simple framework that you can use to come up with, if you're thinking of, yes, you know what, let's create this academy, let's empower our customers to become really successful at using our product and feel that, success and spread it. How do you go about? So, it's a very simple 5 component framework. Everything starts with alignment. Always think about what does success look like for the customer? What does it look for your business? And if those aren't aligned, nothing's going to work. So define the objectives, the outcomes, and the value that the academy must deliver. Once you define that, map your audience, identify who is your audience, what resonates with them, what connects with them. Beginners, if your audience are going to be beginner users, they want to feel confidence. If you have power users, you want to make them feel powerful with mastery. If your audience is or your users are leaders, you want them to feel that there's impact that they've been able to create. So identify the success feelings that matter to each of the groups, and then design the journey intentionally. Not a content dump, not a playlist, but a guided experience that takes them from I can do this, I'm getting good at this, hey, I'm an expert at this, with momentum built into every stage. And finally, there's community. Once users start succeeding, create a place for them to belong, a place to connect, teach, share, and uplift others. Because community multiplies success, it turns users into ambassadors. And measure your metrics. The evangelism metrics: who's sharing their certificates, who's producing tutorials, who's referring new users, who's leading conversations on the community page. This tells you who your true champions are and where to accelerate growth. So, our philosophy is simple. If it doesn't make customers feel successful, it doesn't make the cut. So, build your customer academy, because success gets confidence, confidence begets advocacy, and advocacy fuels growth. Over to you, Chirag.
Super. So as marketers, obviously we've understood, okay, I need to build a customer facing academy, but the core question still remains how. And that's exactly where Hurix comes in. We handhold you throughout this entire journey from inception to success. And there are multiple stages where you may need our help. First of which is identifying a platform. You need a learning management system where your audiences can come, start learning, get certified. It could be a third party platform. It could be your own platform that you wish to build in house. We'll support you throughout that entire journey. Once you build the platform, you want enough content, enough quality content, which is where we sort of come in with humans and AI, all of them working towards a single agenda of creating great quality content for you. Now, this content could be in multiple formats. This could be video based, text based, could be augmented reality based, could be in the form of a game, it could be in the form of a role play. Uh, However, you want to design this entire experience, we're there with you at every step to uh, create that storyboard, implement it, test it, and deploy it. We also give you experts. Let's say you want to start an in-store experience center, or you want to train your frontline folks on that exact same experience. We'll give you those experts to run workshops, to train your trainers, all of that. And we also give you experts to run the show once, let's say a year or two down the line, you want somebody to just maintain the system, create new courses. We can give you contracted employees to bridge that piece of the puzzle as well. And obviously, on top of that, you want to include all your AI ML capabilities. We'll help you do that. What you see right now on the screen is a very small portion of uh, the huge list of corporate clients that we work with across the globe, across North America, Europe, India, Middle East, Africa, APAC, Southeast Asia. What I'll do is I'll leave this QR on the screen, and I'll take this moment to thank everybody who's been kind enough to join us for this slightly over an hour long session. And thank you so much, Kanchan, for doing this. I know you have a bad throat, but thank you so much for soldiering through that pain and sharing your thoughts with us. With that said, thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. It was an absolute pleasure hosting you guys. I'll see you guys really soon. Until next time, good night.